The restaurant was fancy. Tiny forks, white tablecloths, and waiters who moved like quiet ghosts. This dinner was supposed to be for me. I had just made vice president. My first real promotion at the bank. I was 28, and I thought, just maybe, this time they would finally see me, see what I had accomplished all on my own. I should have known better. The whole time, my father, Marcus, just stared at the menu. My mother, Isabella, was smiling, but her eyes were tight. She was worried. She's always worried. My sister, Sophia, was just taking selfies, angling her phone to catch the light from the chandelier. My father, Marcus, set his fork down. The clink of metal on porcelain was louder than the entire restaurant. He didn't look at me. He looked past me, like I was just a space he had to talk through. "Your sister was born for the spotlight, Claire," he said. His voice was quiet. Quiet is always worse than loud. "She has the vision. You." He finally looked at me, his eyes cold. "You were born to manage the books." He leaned in, a little smile playing on his lips. "If you don't like it, leave. Leave." The word just hung there, smelling like expensive steak and betrayal. I looked at my mother. She flinched, a tiny bird-like movement, and then went right back to cutting her fish into tiny, tiny pieces. She was an expert at disappearing. And Sophia, my perfect, shiny sister? She didn't even look up from her phone. She just raised her champagne glass, took a delicate little sip, and smiled at her own reflection in the dark screen. She was the spotlight. I was just the boring, practical one holding the ladder. For years, I had been waiting for a single thank you. "Thank you for paying the store's rent when you expanded too fast, Dad. Thank you for fixing the payroll you messed up for the third time. Thank you for quietly covering the credit card bill for Sophia's vision trip to Milan, which produced nothing but blurry photos. Just one." And in that second, hearing that clink of the fork, seeing Sophia's smug little smile, it all just stopped. The anger, the sadness, the desperate need to please them, it evaporated. I felt nothing. It was the most wonderful feeling in the world. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I didn't make a scene. What was the point? They wouldn't have heard me anyway. They had only ever heard what they wanted to hear. So, I did what I always do. I was practical. I picked up my cloth napkin. It was heavy, expensive. I folded it. Once, then twice, making the corners perfect. I placed it gently on the table, right next to my half-eaten celebration dinner. I smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was a joke's-on-you smile. I finally got the joke. I pushed my chair back. The legs scraped the floor, and that finally got their attention. My father looked annoyed. My mother looked terrified. Sophia just looked bored, interrupted. I picked up my purse. It was the one I'd bought with my own bonus, not with family money. "You're right, Dad," I said. My voice was so calm, it even surprised me. "You're absolutely right." I looked at all three of them, their faces frozen in the candlelight. "Then I guess you'll handle payroll from now on." They laughed. All three of them. It was a short, sharp sound. A bark. They thought I was joking. They thought I was being dramatic. They thought I'd be back by morning, checkbook in hand, ready to apologize for what? For being the boring one? For being the one who actually knew how to run their failing empire? They thought I was just the calculator. They forgot that the person holding the calculator is the only one who knows exactly how much everything costs. And I knew, down to the penny. I walked out. I didn't look back. The cold night air hit my face, and for the first time in my life, I could actually breathe. They went back to their champagne and their steak, feeling smug. They thought they'd put me back in my place. What they didn't know, what they couldn't possibly understand, was that the meal they just finished, the clothes they were wearing, the restaurant they were sitting in, I was paying for it. And what they really didn't know? That meal had just cost them everything. Stay with me, and I promise you will see exactly what happens when the boring one, the practical one, the one everyone takes for granted, finally closes the spreadsheet. You're going to want to see the moment their phones start buzzing. It's going to be mind-blowing. Hit that subscribe button if you're tired of being the responsible one who gets no respect. Don't be like my family, who only sees value in the loudest person in the room. Subscribe if you believe in fairness. And if you've ever felt invisible, comment, "I see you," down below. Let's not side with people who use others and throw them away. I got in my car. I didn't go home. I drove to my office. The city lights blurred past my windows, but I wasn't crying. I was calculating. I walked into that dark, empty skyscraper. The only sound the click of my heels on the marble floor. I sat at my desk, the one I had earned, and I opened my laptop. The screen lit up my face. I opened one file, then another, and another. The numbers didn't lie. I'd been a fool. But now I was a forensic accountant with a broken heart, and that's a very dangerous thing to be. When people ask what finally broke me, they always expect one big story. They want to hear about one huge fight, one giant red line in a bank book that made me snap. But they don't get it. It wasn't one thing. It was 1,000. It was 1,000,000 tiny little paper cuts that had been slicing at me my whole life. It was growing up in the Lopez & Co. import store. To everyone else, it smelled like magic spices from India and coffee from Colombia. But I knew what was behind that nice smell. A rot. A quiet, steady rot that was spreading under the floorboards. And I was the only one who saw it. The store was my dad's kingdom. Or at least, he acted like it. He was Marcus Lopez, the big idea man. He loved walking around, telling customers big stories about where he found all these treasures. My mom, Isabella, was like a shadow. She would straighten shelves, smile at everyone, and try to keep the peace. She was an expert at pretending everything was fine, even when the bills were piling up on the desk in the back room. And then there was Sophia, my sister, the creative director. Her job was to look pretty, try on the clothes, and design things. My job was to make the numbers work. "Claire, you're the numbers one." Dad always said that. He said it like he was talking about a hammer or a screwdriver, a tool, something useful, but not something you love. Not like Sophia. Sophia was sunlight. She was art. I was just the calculator. I was the one who held everything together, but nobody ever notices the calculator, do they? They only notice the bright, shiny answer after all the hard work is done. And Sophia was always there, ready to be the bright, shiny answer. I spent my whole life cleaning up their messes, but there was one mess, one thing they did when we were kids, that I still can't believe I let them get away with. I'll never forget the day I won the state math competition. I was 11 years old. I came running home holding this huge, shiny gold trophy. It was taller than my arm. I was so proud. I thought, this is it. This time, Dad will finally see me. He'll see I'm smart, that I'm good at something important. I burst through the door, and he just glanced at it. "Good, Claire," he said, not even looking up from his newspaper. "Now go help your sister. She needs help with her lines." His voice was flat, like I'd just told him I tied my shoe. I walked into the living room, my big trophy suddenly feeling very heavy and stupid. And what was Sophia doing? She was practicing for the school play. The play. She had one line. One. Single. Line. "Oh heavens, the Duke is here." That was it. And she kept getting it wrong. I spent the next 2 hours drilling her, my trophy sitting on the carpet, getting ignored. A month later, Sophia said her one line. My parents clapped so loud, it was embarrassing. They took her out for a huge dinner. My mom framed the play's little paper program and hung it in the store. My trophy? Dad put it in the back room. He said it was cluttering the office. That was the day I learned the truth. My achievements were clutter. Sophia's tries were trophies. It only got worse. By the time I was 16, I wasn't just helping. I was running the store's books. On Friday nights, while other kids were at football games, I was in that dark, dusty back office. I was learning about payroll tax. I was finding the missing money my dad forgot to log. I was the one on the phone with angry suppliers, begging them for one more week, my voice shaking. I was 16, and I was holding a small business together with tape and lies. And where was Sophia? She was modeling the new scarves we got, posting pictures online. She was the face of the brand. I found it one night. I was trying to make the numbers balance, and they just wouldn't. A few $1,000s, just gone, vanished. My heart was pounding. I thought we were being robbed. I stayed up until 3 a.m., going through every single piece of paper. Finally, I found it. A charge. A withdrawal. It wasn't a supplier. It wasn't a bill. It was a check. A check my dad wrote. The little line at the bottom, the memo line, just said, "Project." What project? I dug deeper, and my hands started to shake. This wasn't a business expense. He had taken the money. He had stolen it from the business. I confronted him. I showed him the check stub, my hands trembling. "What's project, Dad?" I asked. I thought he'd be ashamed. I thought he'd apologize. He just laughed. He told me I didn't understand investment, he said. "Sometimes you have to spend money to make money, Claire. You'll get it when you're older." He patted my head. Patted my head. Then he told me to fix the books so Mom wouldn't worry. He wanted me to lie, to commit fraud. I was 16. I was scared. What could I do? So I did it. I fixed it. I moved the numbers. I made the monster disappear. And that was my first real lesson. My dad wasn't just bad with money. He was a liar. And he was training me to be one too. That's why I went to Wharton. That's why I studied so hard. It wasn't just for a good job. It was my escape plan. I got a full scholarship. I worked 3 jobs. I studied until my eyes burned. I was going to become a forensic accountant, an expert, the kind of person who finds the liars, the kind of person who catches the thieves. I was going to be everything my father wasn't. I was going to be honest. I was going to be successful, all on my own. I thought if I moved 500 miles away, if I built my own life, I would finally be free. I thought I had escaped. I was so wrong. I graduated. I got the big job at the bank. I had my own apartment. I was finally me. Then the calls started. The first one was from my mom, her voice all sugary and light. "Claire, honey, it's just, your father made a small mistake with the new shipment. We're just a little short. A little short." I knew that code. My stomach turned to ice. I asked her to send me the books. She emailed the files. My hands were shaking, just like they did when I was 16. I opened the file. It wasn't a small mistake. It wasn't a little short. It was ruin. It was tens of thousands. They were about to lose everything. The house, the store, all of it. And my dad. What my dad had done with the money. It wasn't just a project this time. It was so much worse. I stared at the numbers on my computer screen. My mom said tens of thousands. She was wrong. She was so wrong. It wasn't tens of thousands. It was hundreds of thousands. The Lopez & Co. imports store wasn't just sinking. It was already at the bottom of the ocean. The lights out, the air gone. My father hadn't just made a small mistake. He had taken out 3 secret loans. 3, all in the store's name. And the money? It wasn't in the store's bank account. It wasn't in new products. It was just gone. Just like his project all those years ago, but 1,000 times bigger. My stomach felt like it was full of wet cement. I picked up the phone. My hand wasn't shaking this time. I was cold. I called my dad. He answered on the 3rd ring, sounding annoyed. "What, Claire? I'm busy." "Busy? Busy doing what? Digging a deeper hole?" "I saw the books, Dad." The line went dead silent. I could hear his breathing, quick and shallow. I saw the 3 loans. He exploded. He started yelling, his voice cracking. He told me I didn't understand big business. He said it was an expansion. He said, "You just stick to your little bank job and let me handle my company." My company? I was the only one keeping it alive for the last 10 years. Where did the money go? Dad? I asked. My voice was quiet. Dangerous. It's not in the accounts. It's not in the inventory, he stammered. It's tied up. It's in assets. You wouldn't get it. What assets? I was looking at the records. They hadn't bought new stock. They hadn't fixed the leaky roof. They hadn't paid their suppliers in 6 weeks. So where was it? And just as I thought that, my computer dinged. It was an email, a social media alert, a new post from my sister, Sophia. She was tagging herself. Location, my new studio. My blood turned to ice. I clicked the link. The pictures were bright and shiny. Sophia, smiling, holding a set of keys. A huge, beautiful, sunlit studio space in the expensive downtown arts district. Grand opening. The post read, "Thanks to my amazing dad for believing in my vision. He made it all happen." There were pictures of new cameras, new lights, brand new furniture. It wasn't a business expansion. It was a vanity project. He hadn't just stolen from the company. He had taken out secret, crushing loans to give Sophia her new dollhouse. That was the project. That was where all the money went. I wanted to throw my laptop across the room. I wanted to scream so loud the windows would break. But I'm the numbers one. I'm the calculator. So I did what I always do. I pushed the anger down. I pushed the hurt down. I started to fix. I thought, okay, I can fix this. I'll call the banks. I'll negotiate. I'll set up a payment plan. I'll save them. One more time. Then we will have a serious family talk. I was still a fool. I still thought I could save them. I thought this was the bottom. I had no idea how much further down they could drag me. I started making calls. I was up all night, building a plan. I'd have to move my own money. I'd have to sell some of my own stocks. I'd have to freeze my own life, put my own dreams on hold, just to pay for Sophia's brand new studio. I finally called my dad back at dawn. "I have a plan," I said, my voice dead tired. "It's going to be hard, and you're going to hate it, but I can try to fix this." And then my father said the words that truly, finally, broke me. "That's good, Claire," he said, his voice all business. "Because the bank called. They said they need the co-signer to approve the new payment plan, so get it done." I stopped breathing. My whole world just stopped. Co-signer? What? What co-signer? "Dad, your credit is terrible." My dad laughed. That short, sharp bark he always uses. "You, of course. You didn't think they'd give me those loans, did you?" I stumbled to my desk, my legs feeling like water. I pulled up the loan documents I had downloaded from the bank's portal. I hadn't even looked. I hadn't thought. I trusted them. I scrolled to the last page, to the signature line, and there it was. My name, Claire Lopez. Only, I didn't sign it. My hands started to shake so hard I dropped my mouse. It wasn't my signature. It was a copy, a fake, a sloppy, rushed forgery. He had faked my name. He had used my perfect credit, my reputation, my job at a major bank, to get his secret loans for her stupid studio. I wasn't just the family calculator. I was the family shield. I was the one he was going to offer up to the wolves when it all came crashing down. He wasn't just risking his own future. He was burning mine to keep Sophia warm. All that studying, all that work, to be honest. It was all about to be wiped out by my own father. And that was when my phone buzzed again. I looked down. It was a text message. It was from my mother. It wasn't about the loans. It wasn't about the forgery. It wasn't about the fact that our family was built on a criminal lie. The text said, Don't forget the dinner tonight. We're celebrating your promotion. We are so, so proud of you, honey. XOXO. Proud? They weren't proud. They were relieved. They thought I was coming to dinner to celebrate, but I knew the truth. They were just making sure their co-signer was still happy, making sure the numbers 1 was still on their side before the first bill came due. I looked at the forged signature on the screen. I looked at my mother's lying text message. I heard my father's voice in my head. You'll fix it. I thought about Sophia, probably posing for selfies in her new studio, paid for with my future. I shut my laptop. I stood up. I went to my closet and picked out my best dress, the red one, the one that made me feel powerful. I wasn't going to dinner to celebrate. I was going to dinner to resign. They thought I was coming to save them. They had no idea I was coming to leave. And they had no idea what I had just found. I didn't even cry. I wanted to, but the tears were gone. It was like they were frozen solid. I just walked out of that fancy restaurant, leaving them at the table. I didn't look back. I got in my car and just sat there for a second. The engine was off. The whole world was quiet. It wasn't anger I felt. Anger is hot and messy. This was cold. It was clean and sharp. It felt like my heart had finally stopped bleeding and turned into a perfect, shiny piece of ice. I wasn't their daughter anymore. I wasn't their calculator. I was an auditor, and I was about to audit my entire, ruined life. I drove home. The city lights were all blurry, but not from tears. I just wasn't looking at them. I was looking inside my head, at all the numbers. I walked into my apartment. It was dark, except for the one little light from my boyfriend Leo's laptop. He was sitting on the couch, working on a story. Leo is a good man. He always sees me. He's a journalist, and he can read people like a book. He took one look at my face, and he didn't say, "How was dinner?" He just shut his laptop. "Oh," he said. That was all. Just, oh. He knew. He waited. He always did. He didn't rush me with a million questions. "How bad was it, Claire?" he finally asked, his voice so soft it almost made me break. I didn't say anything. I walked right past him. I hung up my coat. I kicked off my shoes. I walked straight to my desk. "Bad enough to end it," I said. My voice sounded strange, like it belonged to someone else. Leo stood up. "And what? Dinner? The night?" I turned around and looked at him, the man I loved, the man I had been lying to by hiding how bad things really were. "All of it," I said. "The store, the family, the whole lie." Leo's eyes went wide. He knew I helped them. He knew I paid a few bills. He thought it was just family stuff. He didn't know the big secret. He didn't know about the forgery. I hadn't told anyone. I was too ashamed that my own father would do that I let it get so bad. But now, shame was a trap. It was the cage they built for me, and I was done being locked inside. "What are you doing?" Leo asked as I sat down and opened my laptop. The screen lit up my face with that cold, blue light. "I'm auditing," I said. I opened my financial folders, all of them. There was the folder for my 401k, my stocks, my savings, and then there was the other folder, the one I hated, the one labeled family. It was full of secret transfers, bill payments, little loans that were never, ever loans. I clicked on it. My hands weren't shaking anymore. They were perfectly still. I wasn't just their accountant. I was my accountant. And I was done making bad investments. I was done being their shield. "Claire, talk to me," Leo said. He sounded scared. "Wait," I said. "Just watch." I opened my online banking. I went to the bill pay section. There it was, right at the top. Lopez & Co. Imports monthly rent and auto pay. $5,000 a month, coming straight from my account to pay for their store. I stared at it. I thought of my dad's cold voice. "Leave." I thought of Sophia's pretty, empty smile. I clicked the button. "Delete? Payee." A little box popped up. Are you sure? My finger didn't even hesitate. I clicked, yes. It was gone. A little puff of digital smoke. It was the best feeling in the world. Okay, Leo said, letting out a breath. You deleted the rent. That's big. He still didn't get it. He had no idea. I'm just getting started, I whispered. I clicked to the next tab, the other credit card, the one I got for emergencies and gave to my mom. The one she promised she would only use for groceries or if the car broke down. I opened the statement. Groceries, gas, and a $2,000 charge at a designer handbag store. A $500 spa day, and, wait, a plane ticket. A first-class plane ticket to Milan for Sophia. My emergency card was paying for her vision trips. My blood boiled. I clicked on card services. I was going to cancel it, just shut it down. But then I saw the button. Report card stolen. Leo saw my finger hover over the mouse. Claire? Stolen? He asked. That's a big deal. That's fraud. I laughed. A cold, sharp laugh that sounded just like my father's. Is it? I asked. Or is it just finally telling the truth? They are stealing from me. But I didn't click it. Not yet. That was a line. I wasn't my father. I was better. I was smarter. I went to Manage Users. I saw Sophia's name. Authorized user. I clicked Remove. Click. Gone. I went to my mom's name. Authorized user. Click. Gone. I lowered the card's credit limit, all the way down, to $1. Okay, Leo said, sitting on the edge of the desk. Okay, they're cut off. So what now? They're just going to call you, screaming, when the card gets declined. I shook my head. No, I'm going to tell them. But I'm going to tell them my way. I opened a new, blank email. I put my father's address in the to line. I put my mother's. I put Sophia's. I put the store's main account. I was going to send one message to all of them. No emotion. No crying. No how could you. I was done with emotion. Emotion was how they trapped me. I was just going to use facts. Precision. I typed out the words. Effective. Immediately. I am ending all financial contributions to Lopez & Co. Imports. I typed. My name is to be removed from all store operations, all supplier accounts, and all lines of credit. Effective immediately. I typed. Please do not contact me about this decision. My fingers flew. This was easy. This was just business. But then I stopped. This email was good. It was clean. But it wasn't enough. It didn't protect me. They still had one last, giant, illegal weapon they could use against me. The forgery. The hundreds of thousands in loans that I didn't sign for. If I just walk away, the bank will come for me. My father didn't just steal from me. He put a time bomb in my life, and he was still holding the trigger. I had to defuse it. I deleted the email. I wasn't going to send it. I needed a different plan. I opened a new tab. I pulled up the bank's fraud department hotline, and I picked up my phone. My hand was shaking. Not from fear, not this time. It was power. I had the bank's fraud hotline on my screen. This was the button that could blow up the world. Pushing it meant I wasn't just walking away. I was launching a rocket right back at the people who raised me. Leo saw my thumb hovering over the call button. Claire, he said. His voice was just a whisper. You know what that means, right? That's not just cutting them off. That's jail. He was right. Was I really going to send my own father, my own dad, to prison? I looked at the phone, and then I thought about his cold laugh. I thought about my forged name. I took a deep breath, and I pressed call. A sleepy voice answered. Consolidated Bank, Fraud and Risk Department. How can I help you? My heart felt like it was going to beat right out of my chest. Thump, thump, thump. My name is Claire Lopez, I said. My voice sounded strange, like it was coming from a different person. I'm an employee in the investment division, and I need to report a series of unauthorized loans." The man's voice changed. He wasn't sleepy anymore. "Ma'am, I need you to be very specific. Who are you accusing?" I looked at Leo. His face was pale. I closed my eyes. "I am accusing Marcus Lopez," I said. "My father." The next 20 minutes were a blur. The fraud agent was all business. He asked for dates. He asked for amounts. He asked if I had proof. My heart gave a little jump. "Proof?" I said. "I have everything." I told him I had the original loan applications. I had the PDFs of the forged signatures. And I had the bank statements. The statements that showed exactly how the money moved from the business account right into Sophia's personal account to buy her new studio. The man on the phone was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "An investigator will be assigned to your case by morning. Do not speak to the accused parties. Is that clear?" I hung up. I had done it. I had pulled the pin. The bomb was rolling. Leo just stared at me, his mouth open. "Claire," he whispered, "they're going to arrest him." I just nodded. I felt empty. I felt free. It was a strange, awful, wonderful feeling. I had just burned my whole past to the ground. And just as I was wondering what happens next, my phone lit up. The phone I had just used to ruin him. It was flashing. "Dad." My stomach twisted into a knot. The fraud agent said, "Don't talk to him." But he didn't know my father. Not answering. That was like pouring gasoline on a fire. I stared at the screen, watching it buzz on the table. Buzz, buzz, buzz. It looked like a trapped bee, angry and loud. I let it ring. Once, twice, 3 times. It went to voicemail. Leo let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. "Good," he said. "Don't pick up. Stick to the plan." A second later, my phone buzzed again. A new voicemail. I clicked play and put it on speaker. My dad's voice filled the quiet apartment. It wasn't angry. It was cold. "Claire, the store rent just bounced. The auto pay is gone. Fix it." Not, "What's wrong?" Not, "Are you okay?" Just, "Fix it." A command. He still thought I was his tool. "He has no idea," I whispered to Leo. "He doesn't know what's coming. He just thinks I'm being a brat. He doesn't know the bank's investigators are about to start digging. He doesn't know I reported the forgery. He just thinks I'm a broken calculator that needs a smack to start working again." But what about my mom? Did she know about the fake signature? Before I could even finish the thought, my phone rang again. This time, it was Mom. My heart hurt. This was harder. My dad was the bad guy. But my mom, she just let it all happen. I let it ring. Straight to voicemail. Another buzz. I played the new message. My mother's voice was the opposite of my father's. It wasn't cold. It was sticky, sweet, and you could hear the panic underneath. "Claire, honey, are you okay? You left dinner. Your father is. He's just stressed. You know how he is. Listen, honey, my card, my emergency card. It's not working. The grocery store just declined it. It was so embarrassing. It must be a mistake, honey. Call me back, sweetie. Call me back and fix it. Fix it." There it was again. The same word. I wasn't their daughter. I was just the fixer. Leo grabbed my hand. "You're doing the right thing," he said. "Don't answer. The plan. The fraud agent's words. Do not speak to them." I took a deep breath. "Okay," I said. "Okay, I won't." And then, the hat trick. The third call. My phone lit up. Sophia, my sister. The sunlight, the vision, the black hole that had been sucking my life away since we were kids. This one, I wanted to answer. I wanted to scream at her. I wanted to ask her how her new studio felt, knowing it was built with my stolen, forged future. I let it ring. Voicemail. Buzz. I played it. Her voice was high and whiny, like a little kid who dropped their ice cream. "Claire? Claire? What is wrong with you?" "My card just got declined. My card. The one for the studio supplies. I have a launch party in 2 days, and I can't buy champagne." "What am I supposed to do?" Mom and Dad are freaking out. Whatever little game you're playing, it's not funny. You're ruining everything. Call me back. You have to fix this. I just laughed. It was a watery, broken sound. I'm ruining everything? I said. They have no idea. I finally felt a little bit of peace. I turned off the ringer on my phone. It's done, I said to Leo. They're cut off. The bank is on it. It's over. Leo hugged me. It's over, he repeated. He held me for a long time, and I actually started to believe him. The apartment was quiet again. No buzzing, no angry voices, just silence. And then, bam, bam, bam. Someone was pounding on my apartment door. Not a knock, a bang, like they were trying to break the wood. My heart jumped into my throat. I looked at the peephole. It wasn't my dad. It wasn't my mom. It was two men, two huge men in dark suits. And I'd seen one of them before. He was my father's business partner, the one who gave him the first loan, the one I didn't report to the bank. Bam, bam, bam. My heart didn't just jump. It tried to climb right out of my throat. Leo was in front of me in a second, pushing me back toward the kitchen. Claire, get back, he whispered. Who is that? I couldn't speak. I was frozen. I could only stare at the peephole. I knew that face. I'd only seen it once, years ago, in the back room of the store. He was talking to my dad, his voice low and angry. My dad had been pale and sweaty then, too. This wasn't the bank. This wasn't a past due notice. This was the guy my dad really owed money to. The one I didn't report. Bam, bam, bam. Claire Lopez, open the door. We know you're in there. The voice was like gravel and glass. It rattled the hinges. Leo looked at me, his eyes wide. Claire, who are they? I finally found my voice. It was a tiny, shaky whisper. They're my father's business partners. I made little quote marks with my fingers, even though I was shaking so hard I could barely see. They're the ones who gave him the first loan. The one I never understood. Leo's face hardened. He walked to the intercom on the wall. You're not coming in, he said, his voice strong and loud. State your business. A man's face, the one I recognized, leaned right into the security camera. He smiled, but his eyes were like two dead black stones. No need to be rude, Sonny, he said. His voice was oily and calm, which was 1,000 times scarier than yelling. We're just here for a payment. See, your girlfriend's daddy, Marcus. He missed a payment. A big one. He held up his phone to the camera. It was a text. I could see my dad's name on it. He said his financier cut him off. He said that was you. He pointed right at the camera. Right at me. So, you're going to fix it. Right now. Payment? Leo said, turning to look at me. Claire, what payment? I felt dizzy. I had to lean against the wall. The money I had been sending. The rent. The emergency card. All the little transfers I made to stop the bleeding. It wasn't just for the store, was it? It wasn't just for Sophia's stupid studio. How much had I been sending, month after month, for years? I realized with a sick, horrible jolt that I wasn't just paying their bills. I was paying these guys. I was paying off a loan shark. I wasn't just funding favoritism. I was funding a crime. The man outside held up a finger. We're not unreasonable, he shouted, his voice a little less oily now. We're businessmen. He reached into his nice suit coat and pulled out a folded piece of paper. He slid it right under my door. I watched it move across the floor. That's the new number, sweetheart. That's the payoff amount. What he owes. Today. He laughed. Pay that, and we go away. Leo bent down slowly, like the paper was a snake. He picked it up. He unfolded it. I watched his face. All the color drained out of it. He looked like he was going to be sick. He turned the paper to me. Claire, he whispered, this number. This is $500,000. $500,000. My knees gave out. I slid down the wall and sat right on the floor. $500,000. Dollars. The bank loans. Those were for Sophia. But this was so much bigger. What? What did my father buy with $500,000? This was the project. The one from when I was 16. The one he told me I wouldn't understand. He wasn't just in debt. He was drowning. He had been in debt to these men for over a decade, and all this time, all my life, he'd been using me. His daughter. His calculator. I wasn't his shield. I was his payment plan. "We're waiting, Claire," the man yelled through the door. His voice was getting ugly now. The oily smile was gone. Tick-tock. The interest just went up. I looked at Leo. He looked at me. We were trapped. What could we do? We couldn't pay it, and we couldn't not pay it. These weren't men you could send to voicemail. And right on cue, my phone started to buzz. The one I had silenced. It lit up the dark hallway, buzzing like an angry hornet. I looked at the screen. Of course, it was Dad. He wasn't calling to apologize. He was calling to make sure I was going to pay. He hadn't just told them about me. He sent them here. He gave them my address. I snatched the phone off the table. I pressed accept. I put it on speaker. "Dad?" I yelled, my voice cracking. His voice was a panicked squeak. Claire, thank God. You have to pay them. You have to. You don't know them. You don't know what they'll do." He was crying. Or pretending to. "Please, Claire. They'll take the store. They'll take everything." The man outside the door heard him. He banged on the door again. "He's right. Little girl. Pay up." I was surrounded. My father on the phone, the monster at the door. Both of them screaming at me. "Fix it." "Pay them with what, Dad?" I screamed back. "I cut you off. Remember? There's the door." He sobbed. "Your money, Claire. Your savings. The bank money. Just transfer it. Please. It's the only way." He wanted me to drain my own life, my own savings, my entire future, to pay for his secret, dirty, decade-old mistake. And why? What did he do? What did he buy? It wasn't the store. It wasn't Sophia. Where did $500,000 go? It was the one piece of the puzzle. The one big, dark hole I could never find the bottom of. Leo was still staring at the piece of paper in his hand, the one with the $500,000 number. He looked at me, his eyes sharp. He's a journalist. He sees details. "Claire," he said, his voice low and strange. "The lender's name. The company on this paper. It's not a person. It's a holding company." He read the name. Isabella's Holdings, LLC. He looked at me, his eyes full of confusion. "Claire, who is Isabella?" My blood didn't just run cold. It stopped. It turned to solid ice. Isabella. My mother. My quiet, shrinking, always worried, shadow of a mother. It wasn't my dad. It was her. It was her all along. Isabella's Holdings, LLC. The name echoed in the tiny, silent hallway. Isabella. My mom. My quiet, gentle, "Oh, honey, don't worry, Mom." It wasn't a name. It was a joke. It was the cruelest, sickest joke in the world. The men at the door. The $500,000 number. The sweaty, terrified voice of my father on the phone. It all snapped into place, like a line of puzzle pieces. My dad wasn't the monster. He was just the first victim. The real monster. She was the one I had been trying to protect all these years. I laughed. I actually laughed. It was a horrible, choking sound, like I was dying. Leo looked at me like I was crazy. "Claire? What's funny?" The banging on the door stopped. Even the goons were probably confused. I stalked over to the intercom and pressed the button, hard. "Isabella?" I said, my voice shaking from the laugh. "You're here for Isabella? My mother?" The man's face came back to the security camera. His oily smile was gone. He looked annoyed. "Don't play dumb, kid. Your mom is the boss. Now pay the bill." My dad was still on my phone, which was on the floor. He was making little, whimpering sounds. "Claire, Claire, please, just pay them. I picked up the phone. Shut up, Dad, I said. My voice was ice. All this time, all these years, you weren't hiding from them. You were hiding from her, weren't you? Dead silence. I knew I was right. All his bad investments, all his projects, he wasn't spending the money. He was losing it. And she was making him pay for every single penny. With interest? She's a very smart businesswoman, your mother, the goon at the door said. His voice was almost respectful. She doesn't like loose ends. And your daddy, here, he's the biggest loose end we got. My father. My big, loud, king of the castle father. He wasn't a king. He was just a debt. A line item on my mother's secret spreadsheet. She wasn't just letting him fail. She was managing it. She was profiting from it. And she was using me to foot the bill. She had been using me my entire life. My whole childhood just rewrote itself in my head. My mom finding my dad's hidden bottles. My mom fixing his mistakes with the suppliers. Her emergency credit card. Her worry. It was all fake. All of it. She wasn't a shadow. She was the one holding the flashlight, pointing it right in my father's eyes, making him sweat. She let him give Sophia the studio. Why? To make him owe her more. She let him forge my name. Why? To give herself another person to squeeze. She was a spider, and we were all just flies, stuck in her web. It was all about money. It was all about control. She thought she had me. She thought I was just like my dad, weak, scared, and easy to squeeze. She thought I would just sit here in my apartment and pay. I looked at the clock on the wall. 7:15 p.m. My whole life was burning, and all I could think about was, I'm late. Leo, I whispered. What day is it? He looked at me, totally lost. What? It's Thursday, Claire. Why? I stood up. My legs were wobbly, but they worked. The gala, I said. My speech. I'm the keynote speaker. Gala? Leo said. He looked at the door. Claire, there are 2 men built like refrigerators at our door. We are not going to a gala. I looked at him. For the first time, a real smile touched my lips. Oh, yes, we are, I said. My mother thinks I'm a calculator. She thinks I'm a tool. She's about to find out what a forensic accountant really is. I wasn't going to run. I wasn't going to hide. And I definitely wasn't going to pay. I was going to do what I do best. I was going to audit her. In public. Claire, stop. What are you doing? Leo tried to grab my arm, but I was already at the door. I was done being scared. I pulled the chain lock. I opened the door, just that tiny crack. The 2 big men stared at me. What? The main one said, annoyed. I took a deep breath. Tell my mother, I said, my voice clear and strong. If she wants her $500,000, she knows where to find me. The man's eyes narrowed. What's that supposed to mean? I'm the keynote speaker at the National Weston Gala tonight. In an hour. I smiled. I'm sure she can get an invitation. Tell her to come. We can. Discuss the debt. Publicly. The man's jaw dropped. He actually looked shocked. On the floor, my father's voice was a tiny, screaming squeak. No, Claire. No, you don't know what you're doing. She'll ruin you. She'll ruin us. I looked down at the phone, and with my high heel, I stepped on it. Crunch. The screen went black. I hung up on him. Tell her to wear something nice, I said to the goon. It's black tie. I slammed the door in his stunned face. I turned and bolted the deadbolt. My heart was a hammer. I was either the stupidest person alive or the bravest. I couldn't tell. I looked at Leo. His mouth was open. Get your tux, I said. We're going to a party. As I walked to my bedroom to get my own dress, the one I'd been planning to wear for my other life, my phone, my other phone, my work phone, buzzed on the nightstand. It was a new text, from a blocked number. 5 words. You're making a mistake, Mija. She was already here. She was. She was watching us. You're making a mistake, Mija. My own mother. My work phone was in my hand. Leo saw the screen. He saw the blocked number. He saw the word Mija, my daughter. It was a pet name, but it felt like a snake bite. She's watching us, I whispered. She knew you were here. She knew about the goons. She knew I'd pick this night. The men at the door weren't the threat. They were just delivery. My mother was the package, and she was already here. She wasn't just at the gala. She was everywhere. Leo's face was pale, but his eyes were angry. He didn't say, "Let's stay home." He didn't say, "This is crazy." He just grabbed his car keys. "Then we'd better not be late," he said. The drive to the hotel was the quietest 10 minutes of my life. My heart wasn't pounding anymore. It was just still, ready. I was done being scared of monsters under the bed. I was about to go face the monster who tucked me in. This wasn't about the $500,000. This wasn't about the store. This was about her name on my life. And I was about to foreclose. We walked into the ballroom. It was full of lights and glass and hundreds of people in fancy clothes. My world, the world I built, the world I earned. I was the keynote speaker. My picture was on the big screen by the stage. This wasn't her dark back office. This wasn't my tiny apartment hallway. This was my house. I felt Leo squeeze my hand, and then he let go. He knew I had to do this alone. I scanned the room, and then I saw them, over by the bar. The whole, broken, terrible family. My father, Marcus, was there. He looked small and gray, like a ghost in a rented tuxedo. He was staring at his shoes. Sophia was there, of course. She was wearing a sparkling dress that was probably bought with my stolen money, and she was bored. She was actually pouting and checking her phone, like this was just another boring grown-up thing. And then there was my mother. Isabella. She looked amazing. She was wearing a dark green dress. Her hair was perfect, and she was laughing and shaking hands with my boss. She looked, for all the world, like the proudest mother on earth. She saw me. Her smile didn't fade. It got brighter. She walked right up to me, leaving my boss behind. She kissed my cheek. Her perfume smelled like money and poison. "Claire, Mija," she whispered, her voice so warm and loving. "I'm so glad you came. That little stunt at your apartment, it was so dramatic. You get that from your father." She smiled, like we were sharing a little joke. "Now, you're going to go to the bank app on your phone. You're going to make the transfer, and we are going to enjoy this lovely party as a family." I just stared at her. The nerve. The ice. "No," I said. It was just one word. Her smile didn't move, but her eyes went dead. "No?" she repeated. "Claire, you're a smart girl. You're a forensic accountant. You know what partnership means. You really want me to tell your boss, to tell everyone, how my brilliant banker daughter helped me hide all my money, how she was my partner. Who do you think they'll believe?" My blood stopped. That was her game. She wasn't going to hurt me. She was going to become me. She was going to pull me into her grave with her. I felt a hand on my arm. It was the event organizer. "Miss Lopez, we're ready for you. You're on in 2 minutes." My mother smiled. The perfect, checkmate smile. "Go on, mija," she whispered. "Make us proud." She turned and walked back to my father. She put her hand on his arm, and he flinched. She thought she had won. She thought I was trapped. She thought I would be scared to lose my job, my reputation. She was right. I was scared, but I finally realized. She's the one who taught me how to find things. She just never thought I'd find her. I walked up the little steps to the stage. The spotlight was so bright, I couldn't see the crowd, but I could see her, sitting in the front row, right next to my boss, smiling. I walked to the podium. I had my speech, all typed out. It was about future fraud trends. I picked up the papers. I looked at them. And then I looked right at my mother. I tore the speech in half. The room gasped. My boss looked shocked. Leo, in the back, just smiled. I leaned into the microphone. "Good evening," I said. My voice didn't shake. "My name is Claire Lopez. I'm a forensic accountant." I looked right at my mother. "My job is to find things that are hidden, to find the truth in a pile of lies." My mother's smile was gone, and today I found the biggest fraud of my career. It's a company that steals from its partners. It's a company that's built on lies and fear and forged signatures. My father was crying now. Sophia finally looked up from her phone. "This company is called Isabella's Holdings LLC," I said into the microphone. "And it's run by that woman, my mother." The room exploded. People were standing up, whispering, pointing. My boss's jaw was on the floor. My mother, she just sat there, frozen. I wasn't finished. "This isn't just a speech. It's my resignation, because I can't work at a bank. I have to go file the criminal report. The truth. The truth is more important than the money." I dropped the microphone. The thud was the loudest sound I'd ever heard. It was the sound of me finally being free. If this story spoke to you, if you've ever been the fixer, if you've ever felt invisible while someone else got the credit, then please hit that like button. My whole life, I was told to be quiet, to just handle the books, but the truth needs a voice. Subscribe to this channel if you believe that speaking the truth, no matter how hard it is the only way to be free. And share this video with one person who needs to know they are not alone. Finally, comment, "I am free," down below if you are done letting other people write your story. Don't let anyone, not even family, steal your spotlight.